Hello guys, this is Akash Chauhan again, and in our previous lectures we have discussed about the operators and the expressions we can use in our C++ program. So in today's lecture we will discuss about the various types of statements we can use in C++ program. But, but before moving further, let's discuss what is the statement itself. The very first of all thing, uh, we should know what is the statement, the basics of a statement. So, okay, so let's discuss about what a basic statement is. So let's look at the definition. We have covered about the expressions earlier. So any expression followed by a semicolon is a statement. So this is arithmetic expression. If you remember in the last lecture, we have discussed about this y plus z is the arithmetic operation, right? And if we use semicolon colon here with this and we assign a value to the left side, then it will become the statement itself. So the simple definition is any expression followed by a semicolon is a statement. So if you okay, so this is not an arithmetic expression, this is the integer because I have used y as an integer, z as an integer, so it is integral expression, and if we used this semicolon, then it will become a statement itself. So this is the simple definition of a statement. It is made out of expression if we just use a semicolon with expression. So these are different types of statements we can use in C++. So the very first one is else if or if else statement, nested else if statement, and the last one is the switch statement where we use the break statement as well. Okay, because we use break like this, so we are using semicolon, that's why we are saying it is a statement. So we will use break inside the switch statement as well. Okay, so these are the various types of statements. Let's discuss statements one by one. Let's discuss first of all the else if statement or if else statement. So else if statement is something we write. This is the way to write a if else statement where we write this open brackets and we write something here like x. Okay, here, and we write code in the open parenthesis over here and the else parenthesis over here. So one thing about the else is we it is not mandatory to write. If we are writing if, it is okay, but you are not mandatory to write else all the time. It is not necessary. Okay, if your program needs have if your program has some kind of requirement, then only you need to write your else part of the if else statement. So here x can be something which always return booleans. Okay, the value will always be boolean. So so conditional expression can return boolean. Relational we have used, either they will return 0 or 1. If we use two or more relational expression, then they can also return 0 or 1. As we say, those expressions are logical expression. We have also discussed about these things in our previous lecture. Conditional expression we have not talked about, we will talk about it, but definitely the conditional, it seems the conditional expressions would also return boolean. It means whatever you write here, it will not return anything else except the boolean thing. Okay, so we don't know this conditional expression first of all, so let's understand the conditional expression or the conditional statement. So a statement is nothing but made out of conditional expression, and expression is nothing but made out of operators plus operands, if you remember. Okay, so let's say let's talk about the conditional expression. So conditional expression, okay, so this operator, this conditional operator is a different thing. This is different thing, you must pay attention to. This is this term, the conditional operator is different thing. The expression consisting out of operator and operand is the different thing. Here conditional expression where there is a condition is being used, if it is greater than or less than, if it is equal to, if it is not equal to, there is a condition. Okay, it will go for if or it will go for else. Okay, if your condition the output of your condition is true, it will go for the if, and if the output of your condition is false, then it will go for your else expressions. Okay, so in that case, the conditional expression we write a greater than b. So it is saying that come here, compiler will come here only if when this expression return true. What is conditional operator then? If this is the greater than one, then what is the conditional operator? So conditional operator is nothing but in C++ you can write all such a large code like this. We write 4 or 5 lines, we can write even one line using the conditional operator. So how to write that? Let's look at it. So this is the basic program, basic simple program of if and else. It is saying if a is greater than b, then the max is not x. Let's say this is a, the minimum would be b. Okay, so it is saying if a is b, then the minimum value will be a. And I think let me correct it. Okay, let me correct it. So if a is greater than 0, then the minimum would be b, and this is a. So it is saying if a is greater than b, then the minimum would be b, and else the minimum would be a. So if we don't want to write so many lines, then we can write simply one line. It is saying that minimum equal to this expression question mark. It is saying no if it is true or false. If it is true, then return x. If it is false, then return y. Okay, in our case it is b and it is a. Okay, let's again discuss about this expression a greater than b. So this is the conditional expression. What is the output? Question mark is what is the output? If output is true, then return b, otherwise return a. So this is actually, if you look at it, this itself is till here to here, it is the conditional expression. Here, including semicolon, it is conditional statement. That's what I have discussed over here. Okay, so it is saying, again discuss that, what is the output of that? If output is true, then come here. If output is false, then come here. This is the way to write it. And you can assign, it will return either 0 or 1. You can assign this value to minimum. So we can replace all these lines by this simple line itself. It is the same thing. So this is about the conditional expression statement, or the conditional operator, this operator we have used. Let's talk about the nested else if statement. It is simple. It is saying that the child statement would always be there, or the sub statements of the statement would be there. If else statement, if this is if and this is else, and if we can write the child of these if and else as well, it will be called the nested if else. Okay, so you are applying the condition again and again in the sub statements. Then you can use the nested else if statement. You must have used in the C language before, I think. So this is the last switch statement. So why we write switch statement instead of writing a lot of else if? So if we want to get rid of this writing a lot of if else, we simply write a decision tree. Decision tree means the switch statement. It means you pass a value and it will choose the correct part of the program to be executed. Okay, so for example, either but the mandatory condition is whatever you pass in the switch, it is always be integer or the character. Okay, so in that case, if it is an integer or character, then let's say the case, the writing of making a case would be like this. It is a small letter, case is small c, case 1 is the integer colon, and you write your statements. Then we write break. Break means if the compiler is coming to execute this statement and it finds break, it means it will get out of this switch statement and it will come directly here. So break is nothing but the PC, the program counter. If program counter comes here, reaches to this point, this line, then get out of the whole switch statement itself. Okay, so wherever we use, if the program counter or the compiler will reach to this point, then it will get out of the switch statement. So if it finds the correct option over here in the cases, then it will not go to the default. Suppose you passed something different which you have not created a case for. So here is 1 and A. Let's say you have passed C. So C, for that you don't have a case, then your program counter will skip all these cases and will come to the default scope of your switch statement and execute whatever you have written in the default. Note that I have not added any semicolon here. It will always be used without a semicolon. But I have said that every statement is always ended by the this semicolon. But if you remember, I have not said that. uh, instead of said, I said if any expression has semicolon, it will always be a statement. But I never said that all the statements would always include the semicolon at the end. Okay, so the definition of the statement is actually this is the that was the very first definition. If you have expression, then you must have a semicolon, but if you don't have, then it is not always mandatory to write semicolon after each statement. Like switch statement, we have else if else statement as well. So we don't write the semicolon at the end of these statement, but we still call switch statement or the if else statement. So this is the difference. Don't confuse between them, that a statement will always end with the semicolon. It is not so. But if there is an expression, it must always include semicolon to be a statement. So this is the main point. So this is about the switch statement. Let me write a simple program so that we can understand how it will handle our input. So it is pretty small. Okay, let's look at this uh, small program. So let's look at this program. So it is saying that we are passing operator code, a character or integer. So it is saying if it is 0, it will come to execute z equal to x plus y, and it will break. It means it will not go to the default, it will come out of your switch statement. We have used 1 2 3. So let's say if operator code is 4, then where it will go to execute the program, right? So it will go to directly to the default L5. Okay, L5 will be executed this over here. If we have 2, so 2, case 2 is here, but we have not written anything here, so it will not do anything. The compiler or the program counter will not do anything. Let's say if we have passed 0, it will execute line number 1, and it will break the statement after z equal to x plus y. So guys, this is about the statements, various statements we can use in C++ program. Okay, so far we have covered about the operators, the expression in the statements. From next lecture, I hope I will start with the arrays or the pointers, or let me see what is in between what we have covered, and the array or the pointer, we will discuss about that as well. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for today's lecture. Have a good day.